How Fine Zhejiang full of students, teaching in Yuhang set-up shop. Occasionally visit this market, it passes through the attic street, suddenly falls shoulders lychee paracarp. Looked up, a young girl was leaning in the attic, looks gorgeous beautiful, full of life could not help journeying staring at her, ecstatic. Girls down smiled and went back to the house. Mansheng inquire about people. I discovered that this girl is the daughter of Kreutzfeldt Jacob Rothel, named How Fine, How Worth very fine. Full of students thought to myself difficult to do, trying to think back to the then, did not sleep all night. The next day, go to a brothel full of life handed him the card, was to meet with Fine How, the two laughing, very happy, full of life and my heart more and more obsessed with Fine How. He made excuses to borrow money from peers, gather a number of silver, holding a thin How came, they love each other dearly. Mansheng made a Fine How and 7 donated pillow casually. Mansheng immediately resigned from the teaching job south, to Hunan. The magistrate has been dismissed because of negligence punished, live in houses, the official empty bag cannot be presented Mansheng money. Mansheng am in trouble, it is difficult to return to teach in the local, 3 years, cannot go back. Once he chastised the students themselves drowned, deploring the club because his son, born the full report to the official, therefore arrested and jailed. Fortunately, there are no other students sympathetic to Mr. Fault, always send something to him, which did not suffer much pain. Since How Fine and Full of Life, respectively, behind closed doors will not receive any guests, Madame asked to know the reason, knowing she was determined not to change, also tentatively unchecked. There is a fine businessman Love How, asked to act as a matchmaker Madam, determined to win, at high prices. Fine How refused. Businessman doing business to Hunan, secretly inquire about Mansheng news. Full-time students is about to settle the case, businessmen with money to bribe officials handling the case, so he prolonged detention Mansheng. He came back and told Madam, said Manborn has died in prison. Fine How suspect message is not accurate. Madam said, let alone full life is dead, is not to die, rather than to marry a poor scholar suffer from poverty life, comparable to How satiety wearing silk and satin delicacies at Fine How said Mansheng although poor, can lofty character guarding the dirty businessman, it is not my wish. Moreover hearsay, how to be believed it, asked another wealthy businessman in turn fake suicide note sent Mansheng Fine How, to give up her hopes. How Fine to get the letter, only a day weeping. Madam said I raise you a very early age that you've worked hard for adults 2023, the day be rewarded, not many are unwilling prostitute, and now refuses to marry, what life does, How forced Fine, to marry a wealthy businessman. Businessmen gave her clothes, playing hairpin, earrings and other jewelry, the supply is very extravagant. After more than a year, How gave birth to a fine son. Soon, Mansheng gets students to help rehabilitate prison. I learned that the wealthy make their long-term imprisonment. However, since the concept has always been no injustice Wu Zhou, thought to want to not find the reason. Student funding Mansheng's sense of justice charges, then return to Yuhan. How has been married to Here Fine, extremely indignant heart full of sorrow and grief raw, put is pain suffered, liquor care market on a fine old lady told How. Fine How is very sad, too, that after all the trouble, all the wealthy machinations, she rode out the wealthy, killing the arms of children, carrying their own things, fled Mansheng where all the rich merchant clothes jewelry, did not take. Businessmen back, angrily told the official. Officials believe Fine How forgiven, put the case shelved, did not interfere. Ugh, what's the difference between this year and fled to Hongguan Yuhan shouting How from Kaoying? But she killed the son then fled Thing, is the world's most hard-hearted person.